Hi Taurus, what's going on? We are here with your reading, what you need to know for August. The first card that we have out is Four of Swords. During August, there can be time that you get to rest. There can be time where you get to take a break or you get to relax. You can have some more time to yourself. For some of you, you're going to be spending this time with somebody. So there will be time to recharge. There will be time to reconnect. Some of you may be like connecting with nature, going away, something like that. And for some of you, I'm seeing you do this with somebody. So even though you will still be doing like the recharging and stuff, there can be like an additional person that's involved with that. And that can feel good for your relationship. For those of you that you have somebody that you've been spending time with or want to spend time with. Keep in mind too that you can find this to like resonate in whatever area of your chart Taurus is in. So if your MC is in Taurus, it can mean that you could be taking some time off from work and you could be spending time with a loved one instead. Where it's like, okay, I get like this week or this weekend off, and now I'm going to be spending time with somebody that I've been missing spending time with. Just an example. Nice. I am seeing Eight of Cups, I am seeing 10 of Pentacles, and I'm seeing the Empress. With 10 of Pentacles and the Empress, 10 of Pentacles is going to be your ideal of how things are. It's going to be something manifesting materially for you. So ideals, it can also feel like something becomes stable. You can also be reaching a goal. To have the Empress next to it, this can be about your creativity. It can be about what you're attracting. It can be about what you're manifesting. And sort of like when you're showing up in this light, things feeling stable. This can also be an opportunity that would be a long-term opportunity where you get to be doing something that you want to be doing. I'm seeing Eight of Cups transition over to that. So there can be something that you're going to be leaving behind because it no longer feels like it's a fit for you anymore. And moving towards the 10 of Pentacles can be like, this was not feeling ideal, or this was not feeling stable, or I wasn't being compensated enough, or I want to feel like more relaxed in this regard, and so I need to sort of achieve this in order to feel like that. So it feels like going in the direction where that's going to be made more possible for you. And this does feel like it's aligned with a core part of yourself that's really important to be responding to currently. There can be some negative thinking that's coming to light as well, or this can be somebody around you. Let's use an example. For those of you, let's just stick with the Taurus MC thing. Let's say that you are taking a break from a work situation. While you're on a break, you may find that your mind is more at ease, like you're less concerned with certain things. What may come to light is that there was somebody in your environment that wasn't being like supportive of you, and there's going to be a contrast of, look, I'm spending this time where I'm taking a step back, and it's shedding light on when I'm in this environment over here, I feel like I'm not supported, or I feel even like I'm discouraged, or like I'm being judged, and it's something that's taking away from me being in a situation where I feel empowered, and through that empowerment, I feel like I can express myself the way that I want to. It's not only about expression though, it's also about like, okay, you know when when you're, let's say, like playing a game, if you have somebody there that's encouraging you, like morale for you, you're gonna feel like, yeah, I got this, and like get pumped up, you know, and you can like play better because of it, versus having somebody that's like, you're gonna miss anyway, you know, and then it ends up sort of becoming this self-fulfilling prophecy. I feel something over here. There's like being in some type of environment, and you can also feel like this comes from yourself too. There's something going on over here where you can feel like there's there's tension, and there is a lack of support that is going to be coming to light. And for some of you, this can be within a partnership or somebody that you've been working closely with. And you can also realize how maybe your own thinking or narrative or perspective has been not allowing you to show up in the way that you want to show up. I see the Empress as like us performing at our best with the things that we want to be performing with, like in this context. And then feeling like, look at all this stuff that's happening because of this. It'll feel like a really positive consequence of you being in a place where you feel empowered, where you feel like, yeah, I'm really showing up in a way that I know that I can. And you can feel support because of that. Because the Empress is also going to feel like I got this and I can do this myself and I am able to achieve this. But what was going on over here feels like the opposite of that. So I don't know if there was like somebody that was getting in your head or you were getting in your own way. But this feels like there's going to be a healing from that. And it can be from some type of lack of support, criticism even. Some of you, this can be in your relationship too, I'm seeing. There is a mental shift that's occurring, and it feels like becoming rested enough to be able to deal with this and figure out what to do, because it feels like it's become problematic at this point. When you get into a space where you feel like, okay, I'm fully charged, now I can deal with this thing that may be a difficult thing to deal with, that may really need a lot of energy and effort, mental capacity on my end, but having this little step back here, it feels like it gives you what you need to go back in and do what needs to be done. Some of you too could have been feeling like more pessimistic about a relationship that you have, but you can see that this was coming from a place of you being more so closed off. You know, like you could have been judging somebody harshly, and you could have been feeling like it was taking away from you feeling happy because of that. I'm looking at Virgo here, and I'm also seeing Gemini, the Sun, and Venus. Yeah, I do get Five of Swords and the Sun is feeling like this tendency that you may have to sort of like keep yourself safe, but you could feel like it cuts you off at times, and I feel like that is coming to light here. You can be seeing too how some type of like internalized judgment or criticism, you've been sort of putting that on yourself and potentially aiming that at somebody that you're close with. Also too, like seeing Gemini here can be a lot of stuff that's sort of going on mentally for you, just like thinking and thinking and thinking, and should I do this or should I do that? And it can just feel like a lot of stuff that's going on. Like you want to make a decision. Is it time to be doing that? Yeah, do I need to think about that longer? And then also having Virgo here too, it can be like Gemini and Virgo, like both of these energies, they're both ruled by Mercury. And so there can be some like nitpicking that ends up happening. And it feels like some stuff is being thought about. Potentially decisions are going to be made. It also seems too like you're figuring out like what is actually vibing with you versus what is not vibing with you. And by you being able to take a step back, it seems like it's going to put things into perspective for you. So you can be like, okay, this is working, or this, I feel happy with this, or this increases my vitality versus what may be taking away from you. And I also see too that what comes to light is that there may be a situation that you're looking at that you're like, I don't know that I want to keep doing this anymore. With 8 of Cups, going like 4 of Swords to the Sun can be like, my mind is rested and now I'm seeing things clearly. And to have 8 of Cups can be like, and now I'm realizing that this thing is not in alignment for me. So there can be this feeling of 8 of Cups is like, you get into a situation, you pull sort of what's available for you there and what's resonating with you, and then it can lose its magnetism or lose its resonance, and you're meant to keep going on with your journey. There can be something along the lines of that that's being figured out. Like, is that the case in this situation, or is that not the case? And I'm seeing there be an opportunity for some of you that you're going to be moving towards, because there is a door that's opening, and this looks like something that would feel... 8 of Cups is like, I'm walking away from this thing because it's not really aligned for me anymore. Walking towards Ace of Wands and the Empress will be something that really stands out to you. Like, this is definitely the way to go. You would feel very magnetized, pulled in that dirt. You would feel very attracted to this opportunity, having the Empress here. Having Temperance on the bottom of the deck feels like this is a process, and it's not an overnight process. This is something that can take some time to be figured out. You could have also felt at odds with somebody that you are potentially meant to be close with. So this can be like, this person is supposed to be my partner, whether it be like a romantic partner, or it be somebody that you're collaborating with, or it be like a business partner, whatever it is. I'm seeing somebody that you're close with, but having 5 of Swords there can be like, we're supposed to be working together with each other, and we're also supposed to be like agreeing on decisions that we're making, but now we're enemies in this moment. You know, it can feel like you just... like, I don't know if both of you guys are closed off to one another or what's going on, but 5 of Swords, definitely there's tension. So it can kind of be looking at a person and feeling like, you're not supporting me, you're not understanding me, but both of you guys can be feeling that way, and these things can be coming to light. And it feels like being out of a situation with tension brings light to the fact that that's happening when you're sort of in it with this person, and trying to navigate that with the 2 of Pentacles. It's like, what do we do about this? And how do we stabilize things, or even like create this ideal within the dynamic? So I'm definitely seeing decisions and things being figured out with you and this person. I'm not seeing anything that says like one thing has to happen or another thing has to happen. This feels like both of you guys together are going to be like, this is something that's happening. What do we want to do about it? Like, I'm not able to like hear you right now. You know, it can be that type of thing where you're realizing like, we're really closed off towards each other. Like, what are we gonna do now? Because it's not functioning the way that it needs to be, or we're not really working together. We're not seeing eye to eye. And now that we're calling that out, we can actually try to figure this out. And yeah, so I am seeing with 10 of Pentacles and the Hermit, there can be stuff that you're thinking about independently, and so is this other person. And you may end up colluding once these things are reflected upon, and you sort of come back and like compare notes with them. Having Temperance feels like needing to give this time to allow things to work out, and it doesn't need to be black and white. This can be something that maybe it's time where you're recognizing there's conflict and we can work it out, so then things are running smoothly and there's not conflict. Maybe for some of you, you're going to look at something and be like, but I don't want to work things out, you know, and then you move to the next thing. But it's really just going to depend on what you want. And I am seeing too that like thinking about values and compatibility, that is something that's going to be figured out. Because for some of you, there's an issue that has to do with, these are my values and these are my values, and there can be conflict with that. And it can be because you guys have different values, not like you're right and I'm wrong, or you're wrong and I'm right. It can be more so like, is this actually compatible? Do I need to be more open? Like, can I change my mind? Can I be more versatile, or am I not willing to negotiate on this? Like those types of things that will be coming up. Okay, so a lot of that type of stuff, like trying to be flexible while also being honest about yourself, because honest with yourself, because there may be some things that pop up that are presented to you, and you can look at that and be like, in no way am I going to feel satisfied or fulfilled with that, and that's going to be a capital N no for me. But there may be other things where you're like, I can kind of make this work, you know? And so figuring out things in that light, but it's definitely going to take time. I'm not seeing necessarily decisions being made in the month of August. I'm seeing this more so be figuring things out, like thinking about it, problem solving, reflecting, making a change, seeing if that works. If it doesn't, trying to figure something else out, like that type of stuff that I'm seeing. It's like working and reworking things rather than, and problem solving rather than ending anything in finality, in like an overall scope of things. There may be like little things within the process that you're like, okay, not going to be doing that anymore because that doesn't work. But I'm not seeing any cards that would indicate you ending things necessarily with this person. Not necessarily. That doesn't mean that you can't or that you won't. And for some of you, there may be like a little bit of a space or separation to focus on things individually. But it's really going to come down to your situation ultimately. This has to do, you're navigating with something that you've been involved in, something that you've been involved with. But Mars can be an energy coming to light where things can become like problematic, or just stuff can be brought to light, or stuff that can't be contained anymore ends up coming up, and you have the choice of, I could actually destroy this whole thing, or I can look at it and be like, it's not working like this, and maybe I can implement changes that will allow this to work the way that it needs to, and those things being decided upon. But having like Mars come out means that you don't have to completely like burn this whole thing down. There can be changes and editing that ends up happening, and then things can sort of be put on the track that you want it to be on, and that is also an option too. It doesn't have to be like complete decimation of something, but there's definitely some stuff in the beginning of the month that I'm seeing that has to do with, I feel, more than anything, like what allows everyone to feel safe enough to be communicating with one another and expressing themselves. And also too, there can be some like helpful criticism actually that comes to light, which can feel important. It can be difficult to hear, but I'm definitely seeing stuff having to do with that, or stuff that would even challenge your normal way of thinking, that can be sort of added into your perspective, or at least included or maybe considered, those types of things. And I'm seeing too that like spending time actually thinking about this can be very helpful, rather than writing something off because it's difficult to hear. You can spend time being like, like are they right? Do I agree with that? Is that something that I really want to consider? Or do I feel like they're not seeing me at all and I don't want to open myself up to their perspective? It can be things like that, where you're going to take the time to really reflect and do all that and see where it's coming from. And also too, last thing, if there has been stuff that you've been feeling a sense of resentment about, anger, things that are happening where you're like, oh, I want to like block this person, or like close myself off from them, or like I don't want to let them in, you can be realizing that you have certain values that you need to honor that maybe haven't been being honored, and it can be something that ends up being expressed between you and this person in the dynamic, so that things can come to light. So if things are actually compatible, they can be compatible. If things can be adjusted and become compatible, that can work, versus looking at something and being like, we just got to go our own way here, like that type of thing. So I'm seeing all of those things be coming to light in the month of August. Not a final decision I'm seeing, but more so like just all of this stuff coming up, and it will happen in an interspersed type of way. It's not going to be everything all at once. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.